afternoon and welcome to DKW, a show that is going to be tackling all those issues pertaining to women. And this one is extra special as we're going to be answering your questions, things that you're afraid to talk about, maybe to your friends, to your family members, but you've emailed us in confidence and we're going to talk about it publicly to help, because we're not afraid to talk about it. No. So this show is very, very special. Stick with us and have a look at what else is coming up next. That's right, today we're going to be like your agony aunt. And I've been told that apparently I'm a born agony aunt, but I'm not going to be answering your questions alone. In the studio I have with me our lovely Melissa.
Hi.
Our gorgeous Gemma.
Hi.
And our luxuriously foxy lady, Lisa Marie.
I was wondering what you were going to say. I like it.
That just had to just roll off my tongue there quickly, I think, or something. How are you, darlings?
Good. Oh, we're good, yeah.
It's really good to be in the studio with you guys.
Oh,
it's
like fantastic to be with you too.
Well, it's like having family here, isn't it? Well, this is quite a serious show.
Yeah.
I know that we're having a lot of laughter, and we're going to have a bit of laughter later on. But this is our time to really talk about the things that people who watch our shows then email us about or call in about, things that they're going through. And we're not professionals, not at all, but we are women that do care. And I believe that by discussing the issues, we might be able to help a few people out there. You guys ready for that?
Definitely.
Okay, so let's listen to the first video. Have a look at this.
What question would you ask an agony aunt?
When is the right time to give advice to one of your friends that's having a relationship problem, and when is it the right time just to listen to them?
Oh my days, what a broad question, ladies.
I'm telling you.
Okay, what a way to start the show. All right, let's go straight for it. When is the right time just to give advice, or when is the right time just to listen? Is there ever a right time?
I think you should always listen.
Well, that goes without saying.
I think you should always listen, always. Even if you want, like for me, there's nothing worse than when someone wants to give me their opinion, but they're not listening to what I'm saying. So, for example, I'm not men bashing at all, but I find this. I'm in a relationship, and I find that men are like this, that they just want to solve your problems. And it's like, whereas with my girlfriends, I can talk about it, and they'll be like, "No, seriously?
Oh my God! Oh
no, he didn't." And that's what I want. I just want you to get it, and then not for you to sort of say like, "Oh, okay, this is what you should have done," and then I'm just like, "Oh, it's over."
You can't even let me finish the story.
Yeah, I mean, you should always listen. Always listen.
Okay, that was a very good answer.
I think you've got to pick and choose your moments, because one size doesn't fit all. And for example, trying to give somebody advice when they are het up, when they are emotional, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to know it. It's not helpful. So you've really got to make sure you're doing it in a clear manner, objective if possible, because as well it's similar, like what Gemma was saying, there's nothing worse than you're trying to speak to somebody and all you're doing is just throwing on them what your opinions are, your tunnel view is, and you're not prepared to see that might be a grey area over there. It's not completely black and white.
Yeah, I think sometimes you've got to pick and choose whether advice needs to be given at all, to be honest, because sometimes you give advice just based on your opinion.
Yes.
And just because it's your opinion, it doesn't mean that you actually need to give that advice. But if you've got a friend who's in a situation where you can see that they're leading down a path that is really going to hurt them, or they're in danger of something, of course you've got to give advice. But even then, you have to try and find the right time. But sometimes you've got to just hold your tongue. You might think, oh, I don't think that's the... Do you know what I mean? But you don't need to say it.
And on the flip side of that, there's other people that just listen. All they do is listen because they don't want to confront the issue. Now, I don't think that's a good friend either, because, for example, if you know that your friend is... Like, I've been in this situation recently, actually. I've had a friend, and she was just doing something so silly. And I've been listening for a long time, and I just had to get to a point where I just said to her, do you know what? You've just been so silly. You're going around in circles. You're not going anywhere. and just to be a good friend to her. Did she appreciate it? Not at the time, but I know that in the future.
You hope so, anyway.
I know that I'm right.
Hope you live to tell the tale, Gemma. You know what I was also thinking I was actually thinking of actual scenarios while you guys was talking, and I know, for example, in family, for example, you know when you might have a sister who has a relationship and she comes to you, or a friend, and says, my partner's done this, this, that and the other, and you think, oh no, he's out of order, he's da-da-da-da-da, and then they make up. And then suddenly she remembers all the things you said about your partner.
Yeah, that's where you got to be careful.
She remembers all the things you said about she's now forgiven. At the time, it was all right. But now that everything's made up, but she will still remember all the things that you said about the partner.
Yeah.
So I think in those I have learned that, for example, that it is really important then just to listen at that point. Because she is just, that you were saying earlier, letting off steam. She doesn't mean half the things she's saying. And when problems do come, half the time you don't mean it. We're not like guys. As women, we just need to get it all out.
Vent, and then...
Because when you say, oh, I always knew that he was that kind of
And then you start adding, and by the way...
And I saw this.
And he's no good for you.
Oops. Let's be careful of that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I've got another scenario that came in by email. It goes like this. Dear DKWs, my boyfriend hit me in a row. It was a heated argument and we started shouting and he hit me. It all went quiet and then he started to apologise, and he knew, because he knew what he had done. He has not stopped saying sorry ever since and promises that he will never do it again. I can't think straight at the moment, but should I forgive him and give him another chance? Each time I think about it, I shudder. Should she give him another chance, ladies?
I have a feeling this is going to be a unanimous no. If it isn't, I'll be very shocked, ladies, and I'll have something to say. Because, I don't know, I mean, what's to say that he's not going to do it again in another row?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Once a man puts his hands on you, it's very difficult. I mean, it's one thing to shout and, you know, we all get angry, but to put your hand to lash out, I mean, for me, that would just be a deal breaker, instant deal breaker.
Even in marriage, or if it was a long-term relationship?
It's tough. See, it's tough. But you know, she said it's her boyfriend, so this is what I'm going on.
Could be long-term.
No, long-term, short-term. I'm telling you, I'm going to be honest with you. I know myself, and personally, I would hit back. No lie. Before I break up, you need to feel what you've made me feel. But honestly, it would be a deal breaker for me.
For me personally, it would be a deal breaker. But I can say that there could be other mitigating factors that might influence somebody's decision. Because though it says boyfriend and girlfriend, we know that in these times anyone can be boyfriend and girlfriend for 10 years, 15 years.
Have children.
And so they've actually, so it is almost like a marriage. And so they have to look at the circumstances. Now, it's no way acceptable for any person, and it works the other way around either. It's not acceptable for anyone to hit another person. It's just not acceptable. Use your words, not your fists. But could it be that, and not excusing them, could it be that they're going through a certain scenario at the moment where the stress is and he's reacted in the wrong way? Is it that it was a one-off, and could you trust him again? There's a lot of things. Are you prepared to work at it, or is that the end of it? You know, there's a lot of things, because if you've got kids, you're going to have that person in your life anyway, regardless. So you're going to have to work out
not in a relationship though.
It's true, but then I do know of situations where people have had abusive relationships and they've managed to turn it around, and that is not a factor in their life anymore.
Well, talking about turning it around, what about when the woman hits the man? Because, like, for example, sometimes you do see, like, I'm just trying to be controversial here, but sometimes you do see, like, women hitting men, and it's like it's not as bad as a man.
Solange and Jay-Z.
Yeah. Don't want to mention any names. Come on, like, you know. But yeah, you do, and it's like it's not as bad. But yeah, if it was Jay-Z hitting Solange, for instance, it would have been absolutely terrible, and I'm sure that Beyonce would have been almost like forced to break up with him, because everyone would have been outcry. But sometimes I think women can be quite, like, they can provoke men sometimes, and I'm not saying this is an excuse. I don't think you should hit women, but I think you need to look at all the circumstances. Did you provoke him? Were you hitting him, etc.? And I think that I wouldn't take no. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't just say take, oh, I'm sorry, and then move on. You have to pay for it. Like for Melissa, Melissa said, you have to be prepared to go to anger management or to find out where this violent behavior came from. Because, you know, if you really do want a relationship with me, then I need to see that you truly are sorry. Because some people just say sorry, oh, I'm sorry, and then a few months down the line they're hitting you again, and then you end up being a victim. You need to be truly sorry. You need to come out with it. You need to confess it to someone else. You need to go for counselling. You need to address your childhood issues, and then when I see change, then maybe we can be together.
Because it's not a quick fix. It's not a 2-month thing. It's not a 3-month thing. This would be a long-term program someone would have to go into, and they have to be, as I said, you've got to pick and choose. You can't just accept that sorry, because if they have got those issues that they're not going to confront, it will happen again.
Well, that's correct, and I think there's a lot of things that you can do as a one-off, as a spur of the moment. Hitting is not one of them.
Well, we've got two sides here. I mean, what do you think? Would you go with Melissa and just completely cut it off? Or would you set boundaries, like I think these ladies are saying? Okay, maybe work it, see what happened, what instigated it, you know, did she have a part in it, At the end of the day, at DKW, we never condone any kind of violence. And there are useful contacts on our website if you go to dkw.me, where you can get professional advice. Again, we're just discussing this openly, but you know, I think you should really, really check out those professional advices too.
Yeah, because one thing I will say is that I've been in that situation actually, and I was thinking about it, and I was about 17 years old, and I remember when he hit me, I was like, so like kind of like what Melissa said, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, and just sort of put up with it, and then it did happen again. And you know, looking back now at my younger self, I wish that I'd been stronger as a person. And then I realized as well that actually it was I allowed that to happen, I enabled that situation to happen just because I didn't value myself. And it's because I didn't have that value for myself, I was afraid like, oh, I'm not going to find someone else. So I took his sorry so easily, because I was thinking, oh, I've put so much into this relationship, and I was so young, and oh, I love him. But the truth is, you need to sort of ask yourself, you know, like if you are in that situation, why are you holding on to it? Is this really a good relationship? Are you married? Have you got children? Mistake? Is it a genuine mistake? Is it worth it? Or is this guy an absolute nightmare and you're just putting up with it because you feel like you're going to get no one else? So the reason as well, like, is this a good relationship? Because, you know, if he is hitting you, it might be that he's a terrible boyfriend in other areas as well, abusive in other areas, maybe verbally, emotionally, and then it's just not worth it.
So you've really got, I mean, whoever who's written this in, you've really got to reason. I think that's what we're getting at here. You've really got to make an informed choice. You need to sit down and think about all of these things before you do make a decision. And I think that you guys have given a really nice, varied spectrum of answers, and I hope that it helps, okay? But please check out our website, dkw.me, for useful contacts too. Now stick with us, because we're going to be going through more scenarios after this break.
If you don't have a relationship with yourself, if you don't know you, if you don't love yourself enough to invest time in, to take good care of, how can you do that to someone else? But people are doing that all the time.
You fail yourself, you reject yourself, you say bad things about yourself. You say, no one's ever gonna want me. That's why a lot of singles get rejected. Because they reject themselves. Because you think, I can't get any better. You know, I can't get anyone, so at least I have him, at least I have her. And that person will abuse you, will trample all over you, because you don't respect yourself.
Forgiving the person who betrayed you can be tough, and it can almost always leave a scar. A scar that remains from an abusive past can affect your future in so many ways. There are various forms of abuse, the seen and the unseen. We understand your pain because we have been through it ourselves. If you or someone you know is a victim of any form of abuse, help is available. Rehab. Removing all hurt and abuse. We won't pretend it never happened, but our aim is to help you heal the wounds of the past so that you can build a happy future. We'll listen, we'll advise, we'll be your shoulder to cry on. It's free, confidential, and we're just a phone call away. For more information, call 0207 686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org/Rahab.
Welcome back, and today on the show we're discussing your scenarios. That's right, questions that you have emailed into us for us to discuss on the show. And before the break, Gemma shared with us her very surprising to Melissa revelation that she did suffer abuse. And I am Gemma's sister, and so is Melissa Gemma's sister, and we never knew that this happened at the time.
Idea.
She had no idea.
We do know each other.
Yeah, so we do know each other very, very well. But the point is that she kept it hidden.
Yeah.
She was able to disguise it. It's almost like it was never happening. And this is very, very dangerous. And this is what many times we women do. We pretend that things are not happening. We become Oscar-winning actresses overnight.
Definitely.
You know, we learn how to hide things because society teaches us to do just that. But that is so dangerous because, for example, what if he hit you so hard that it would have knocked you out completely, and we would have never known, and we were there, hello, comforting him, being, enjoying his time, having no idea this was happening. So this is what this show is about, things that maybe you're afraid to talk about. So we're here to talk about, we're here to expose it, we're here to tell you what we would do as your girlfriend. So first of all, let's go to a red and green card game that we're going to do. You know, our fun.
Fabulous.
I'll go back to your scenarios in a second.
Since I've actually been helping out, I've been waiting for this kind of game.
Okay, for those of you who don't know what the red and green card game is, where have you been? DKW, this is our game, and what we normally do, we ask our presenters questions. If you agree, you decide to put up green or red. In this scenario, we're going to be asking the presenters what are they not afraid to say, or what are they afraid to say. So I'm going to be giving you some questions. If you are afraid to say it, you would therefore put up your red card. If you're not afraid to say it, you'll put your green card. Okay? So are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, first question. Are you afraid to say when your friends are with the wrong partner? If it's no, red. If it's yes, green. Oh! Unanimous. Something I hate to see on this show, but no problem. Okay, tell us why. Why are you guys not afraid?
If I'm a friend, I'll tell you.
If you're a true friend.
Yeah, you know, to be in a relationship is serious, especially if the person is thinking about getting committed, engaged, married, moving in together, etc. Then if you know something about, what was the question, when you're friends with the wrong partner?
Yeah.
Now, who are we to say that you're truly with the wrong partner? I think that the person who's in the relationship should say. But as a friend, there are signs.
It's true.
And when you see some dodgy signs, or if I know any information that he's done something, or he's not of good character like she thinks he is, I will tell her, just so that she's informed, and then she can make an informed choice.
Yeah. I've done it, and it has it has burned me.
Do tell.
But the thing is, I felt I had to, because if I considered myself a friend, and if I truly did have love for that person, I couldn't watch someone go through something that I could see wasn't going well, because I've been divorced. I've been in a marriage that hasn't turned out right, and I know the personal hell that I went through with that. Why could I see somebody going through that and not stop them? Do you know what I mean? Or give them that advice. Whether they listened or not, there's not a lot I can do about that, but I have to do my part. And if I love somebody, whether they're going to accept that advice, whether they're going to hate me afterwards, at least I can hold my hands up and say I tried, and then be there for them afterwards.
Yeah, I've been through the same, and for me it was quite difficult, because the person that this friend of mine was in a relationship with is actually now a family member of mine. So some word did get around of the things I was saying. I mean, I did advise her and said, look, if I was you, I wouldn't go and tell him what I've said. Make these observations for yourself as a wise woman. She did go and tell him. It wasn't pretty, but for me, it's terrible, but I was so sure that he was so wrong for her, that I just thought, okay, right, well, now all I just need to do is just keep quiet from here on out, because I've given my advice, I've given my opinion, and I'll just wait for when it all hits the fan, and I'll be there as a supportive friend, which was what happened in the end, unfortunately.
Like, for example, what is wrong? Like, I think we need to clarify that as well, because wrong would be if you know that he's a womanizer, if you know that he's cheated on her, if you know that this guy's not telling the truth, if he's a liar, if you know these, if he's got, like, you know, children that she doesn't know about. All these things have come up within friendships that we've had, and the thing is, if you know something like that that could affect that person's life, that person should know. And if he's not saying it, then it means that it's not fair on her. But, you know, on what I would say is, on the flip side of that, I think that if you've got your own personal vendetta,
well, I was going to say that.
Well, that's what I said at the beginning. When it's your own personal opinion, then you don't always. You need to save it. You know, you need to save it. It's not based on fact. Exactly.
A feeling or a vibe. Or
like some people have. Oh, he's wrong because he's not of the right culture. That's up to the person to decide. If she feels like I've dated out of my culture before, and I felt like I could learn the language, learn to cook the food. That's the sacrifices I have to make. So I think that you can't say that he's wrong. You can advise me, but you can't say no, he's not your culture, so he's wrong, or he's not the age he should be, so he's wrong. It's like you can say your advice, but it's up to the person to make the choice.
And you've got to be a very strong woman. I mean, you guys are speaking so confidently, but I know I've been there, and it's been very hard when you tell your friend, and you even risk losing your friend. I have actually lost a friend for a couple of months because I said something.
Me too.
You know, you've got to be strong, but you're at peace at the end of the day because you know it's right. Okay, next question. How about this one? Are you afraid to say when your friend has put on weight?
Yes.
You're afraid, Gemma? You are afraid?
I'm not really, afraid's not really a good word, but I wouldn't.
Red, yes, it's
kind of
green.
wouldn't say, I wouldn't.
I know definitely Lisa has never been a
I knew Lisa would say red.
I mean, I have witnessed this myself, so I know that. What about you, Janessa? Why do you say, why are you afraid to say?
It's a tough one.
Well, it's tough, it's not so much
about a partner, but not about your weight. So this is quite strong.
It is tough because
too many cookies.
I'm telling you, they've just had too many cookies, haven't they? Bless them. The thing is with weight, you know, we're women, and we are. I'm a woman myself, so you know, we're sensitive sometimes, and sometimes we know it. We are very well aware, but we just don't want to hear other people telling us that we put on weight. So, because for me, I know myself. I know how I am. I'm like, I know when I've put on weight, you know, and to be honest with you, I don't mind people saying it once or twice, and you start hearing it a lot of the time. You just kind of, okay, right. I do know the way that my clothes are fitting me at the moment. I see myself in the mirror. Just save it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to make other people feel that way. Do you know what I mean? And I think women, we know when we've put on weight. It's so easy to tell. You've only got to put in your jeans when they're too tight, the buttons popping off. You know. So why should I need to mention it? That's the thing, and sometimes it can come off a bit catty as well.
Well, this is it,
and that's the thing.
I totally agree with Melissa. Like, there is no woman in this whole world that does not know that she's gained pounds.
I'm telling you.
She knows that her clothes are too tight. She knows that she's got an extra size. She knows, so let her be. If that's because you know, even for me, I feel very strongly about this because for those who don't know, I used to be 3 sizes bigger than I am now, and I did a competition. But I remember people used to be like, so don't you want to lose weight? And I was like, no.
See now, let's defend myself here, okay? Because I'm not going up to people like, oh, you're a bit fat today. You know what I mean? How many muffins now? I would never, ever make somebody feel small because of exactly what you guys have said. But I know how it is for myself. Like right about now, I know I need to lose a few pounds.
And I've seen that, Lisa, but I've not said it to you. I know that you know.
Because I'm not afraid to say it. But as in helping other people, as in tips and stuff like that. So I would choose who I'm going to say it to and how I would say it. So if somebody brings it up, then I can say, look, this is what I was doing. I mean, I have a reason. I hurt my knee, so I couldn't exercise for 3 months, okay? But we're working on it. You'll see the difference. But it's to pass on those tips and to help others, because the same like when you lost the weight, people came to you asking you, what did you do? What was your secret?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think when it's done in that way, that's fine. But to do it to belittle, to make someone feel down, that's just wrong, and that's not a friend.
I remember someone saying to me, when I lost weight, someone said to me, oh my gosh, now you're going to get married.
Oh right, guys. This is
a whole other show, isn't it? Yeah.
Listen to Madonna's quote. See what you guys think of this. Some people are afraid to say what they want. That's why they don't get what they want. What do you guys think of that?
Some
are you
people
to say
are
what you want? Are you afraid to say what you want in life, ladies? She's saying that some people are afraid to say what they want. This is why they don't get what they want.
So what if we agree with it? It's green.
Well, yeah, if you agree, it's green. If you disagree, it's no, it's a red. Okay. Oh, we'll start with Lisa this time.
Actually, I'm on the fence.
Obviously, this doesn't apply in every situation, but I do think that it can hold a lot of people back because you're too afraid to say. And as in like things like for jobs, for example, in your appraisals, that's your time to say how good you are and, you know, to put yourself a case how you've done over the year. And there are some people who, when I used to do the appraisals, and they're marking themselves down unnecessarily. You know, obviously I know some people don't want to build themselves up in case they think someone's going to knock them down, but sometimes if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. When I got this job I had now, they offered me one salary, so I said, right, I'm losing this benefit with this job, so can you give me more because of that? I got it. Some people are too afraid because I hadn't worked for them. I hadn't worked in housing before, for example, but I believed I was worth it, so I asked for it.
Gemma.
Yeah, similar to yeah, I am on the fence because so similar to Lisa in terms of some people don't have confidence to say this is what I want and I'm worth this, etc., etc. So yeah, in terms of pay, salary, like you see it all the time because I work in HR. Well, I used to work in HR, and that is what you see. A lot of people, they're not confident within themselves, so they don't go after sometimes even after the jobs that they want. Or for example, relationships. How many women, for instance, are like, they like a guy, but he has to approach me, or they like someone, but no, I'm too afraid. Then you don't get what you want. And sometimes you see someone who is less pretty than you, or got less credentials than you've got, and just going with confidence snatching your guy away. So you can see it in that way. But sometimes I do think that there's a lot of talking going on and blowing trumpets and less action. in terms of getting what you want, you know, just stop going on about it and just
stop gassing.
Yeah.
And you know,
right now,
just do it.
You are disagreeing. So what do you have to say about it?
Exactly what the point Gemma was making. I think fear is always going to cripple you. So I don't disagree with the fear and being afraid. It's the saying that I've got the issue with. Because in life, you know, life is not about talking, speaking. Because sometimes people are, you know, you see it when I used to watch certain TV programs on TV about, like, you know, going for high paid jobs, etc. You see a lot of people just talking, and they can talk. When it's time to do the challenges, to do the thing, you're not seeing a lot of action. Yeah. And that's what it's all about.
Well,
you don't have to be saying that. You need to take action.
Why? Why do you think? What is stopping these women?
It depends on the mentality that you grow up with and that you're around. If you are taught that, you know, you have to settle, that maybe you need to wait for all the opportunities to come to you, then
that's a quite good
then
point.
You won't go for it unless you are taught a different way. Because for not everyone, confidence is natural.
Already there. Yeah.
I don't think it's always about saying though. I think for me, you don't have to. Well. Yeah. For me, I'm not a person who likes to say necessarily what I want to every time. I don't need to. I just need to go for what I want. I know in my mind what I want, and I'll be going for it. I don't think you know, I don't think you need to talk a lot. That's my personal opinion.
Well, someone who's she's a presenter on Finding Answers, actually. Everyone catch the show. But, you know, she's a presenter on Finding Answers, and she told me something really interesting, which is called, going back to women, called the imposter syndrome. And I was like, no way. And she was saying that a lot of women do have this sort of feeling of being an imposter. So when it goes, like, in terms of going for a really good job or their own career or starting their own business, they have a lot of anxiety and they'll think it and overthink it and rethink it. Whereas some men, they're just like, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to take the risk. Now, there are obviously exceptions, but she said that, like, for example, if a woman is offered a high-paid job, because I said to her, why are some managers or people in sort of high-paid jobs really terrible? It's because they always feel they have to prove themselves because they feel like they're imposters in that situation, whereas men are like, this is my space,
this is who I am,
own it and go for it. And women are like, oh my god, I shouldn't be here, but will they find me out?
Well, we're going to be discussing more about this after this break. Stay with us.
That's
welcome back. And today we're discussing all the little ugly things that people don't often like to talk about. We're exposing it here on the show today. And we've got a video. Ladies, take a look at this.
If there was a question that you could ask an agony aunt, what would that be?
How do you get around London? Woo! On the tube or any public transport with a baby? It's so difficult. You can't take a pram and they get pretty heavy. It gets difficult.
A little bit of a giggle in the studio. So ladies, I mean, like being the mums that you are, can you just give us some advice?
Auntie. We'll say that. Well, the thing is,
I know what she's going to say. I know exactly what Lisa's going to say. Is it
really?
Called, yeah, go. Is it called rush hour?
Yeah, stay in your... I'm joking. Right now. Really and truly, it's about everyone has to be able to work with one another, but rush hour, it is a really busy time. So trying to force your way onto tubes and buses with these, they're not even prams anymore, they're like mini tractors.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like they're really bulky and all that. Then you're going to have to be aware that it's not just you're taking up the space of a few people, so people are going to get a bit frazzled. So I'd say it's about planning your journey. If it's a younger mum like the person in the video, it's going to be a lot easier for them to go out at less peak times. So that's what I would suggest, because there's so many stairs and stuff like that. There's so many, as I found out, they don't have any escalators and stuff like that.
I find it amazing. I see there's it's a main station that I won't talk about, but it is. Even I get out of breath and I've got no kids by the time I get up all those stairs, because there is no escalator.
And
I see people struggling for tube, but what can I say?
I would have had before. I used to have sort of almost like Lisa's point of view, like, oh my gosh, can all the babies and all the elderly people stay at home until after? That was genuinely my view before.
I used to think
honest,
the same.
because for me, I just thought it's rush hour. We need to get somewhere. We need to get somewhere.
Transport is not for you guys
at this time, you know. And I don't offend anyone, but now that I've got a little niece, and now I get it, because actually when I think about taking care of her and I think about public transport, I do see what mothers go through. And the thing is, I do feel that we're not child friendly in London.
No.
Because even like you said with the buses and stuff, and I don't think we should bring back those long bendy buses, but we have to do something. Because, like, for example, I'm sitting on the bus so many times, and then, you know, a mother can't get on because there's another pram on there, so it's just obviously not big enough. So I don't know what the solution is, and I do agree about Finsbury Park Station.
You are terrible.
Yes, and
there's a number of them. That's only one.
So many.
Yeah, when you think about it, even when you're going up with suitcases, so imagine a mother, and it just takes like one sort of slip for her to just fall with her baby. And you know, you don't always get those kind people that are going to help you up there and so on. So I think that we do really need to be more child friendly in London.
Well, our transport system is clearly giving us a hidden message that if you've got kids,
stay home.
I think, but the thing is, what it is though, it's the money side of it, because if you make those buses bigger, children, they don't get any money for. So if you're taking the seats out to make more room for buggies, it's not cost friendly, and unfortunately that's what wins out. So you have to think of alternatives.
I'm so sorry. It looks as if that we just can't help you with that question. We can only just sympathise with you.
We're going to have to go to the mayor.
Indeed. All right.
Petition
Next question. All right, dear DKWs, we've got an email here. This is quite serious, ladies. My online boyfriend lied about so much. Should I give him a chance? Don't answer straight away, girls. It may sound crazy, but I've fallen for a man online, and he told me he loved me first. We have not met. We are thousands of miles apart, but we speak on the phone. At first, all was fine, but then I became suspicious. He only sent one picture in these months, and he was not consistent at times and avoided some questions. I looked him up, and in some ways, it seems like all that I've fallen for is not who he really is. He's lied about his age. He's over 20 years older than me. I asked if he's married, and he said no, but apparently now he's in the process of divorcing. He's got a son who's a teenager. Well, that's what he said, but now I found out that he's got two who are in their 30s. I've never lied, sent lots of pictures of who I am, but stupidly, my love remains. I see, though, although he says his love is true, I know he... Sorry, I can't really read the email here.
Okay,
cut long story short, that basically, should she give him another chance, ladies?
Never.
Give him a chance. He had plenty, as far as I can see, to be perfectly honest. And the biggest clue was the fact that you got one picture in 3 months. in this day of modern technology where you can send a picture via WhatsApp in 2 seconds, that should have been one of the first hints. I'm sorry. It sounds to me like this person wanted to believe the lie for a deeper reason, as in maybe she was lonely, maybe she really wanted somebody in her life, because everything that is said here to me would be red flags that would be
And do you know what's terrible about this is the fact that a lot of it she has had to find out herself. So it's not even been him saying, do you know what, I lied about this and I lied because of this. It's her finding out. So then he would have continued lying all the time. And what else are you going to find out about him? You know, you could find out that he's an axe murderer, he's a fraudster, he's a...
Indeed.
You know, he sounds like a fraudster to me, to be honest with you.
Well, he definitely is. The thing is this, when I get this email, and I know there's no point in doing red card and green, because I know that you guys are going to say the same thing. But I think deep down she already knows the answer to this. I think she just doesn't have the confidence or maybe the strength to let go, because
she has said that her love remains.
Her love remains.
It's funny because she contradicts herself, because she said everything she's fallen for was a lie. So that is
fantasy.
That's the answer in itself, you know. And if your love remains,
it doesn't exist.
Well, you know, if she feels like her love remains and she wants to make the decision to get to know this new person and make a informed decision for herself, then that's up to her. But
the thing is, her love remains with this character, this fantasy that's been painted. It's not the guy. It doesn't exist, and I'm so sorry to burst your bubble, but it's the fact of the matter.
A relationship is built on trust. How can you trust this person?
If he said he's going to the shop for bread, you don't know if he's actually going to Gatwick Airport.
Exactly. And to be honest, you know, what I find is in the beginning of a relationship, you're always kind of like, you want to brush it under the carpet, but it's going to come up time and time again, and you won't be able to trust him.
And you're going to get hurt. So stop with this while you still can, if we get too deep. All right, let's go into the world of celebrities. So Jennifer Lawrence is not seeing Chris Martin, according to Jennifer Paltrow's ex. I think I've read that wrong, but anyway, let's read this. Multiple sources have confirmed that red carpet siren Jennifer Lawrence and musician Chris Martin are seeing each other. Apparently, ever since J-Law and her Nicholas Hoult split in June, she and Martin have been spending a lot of quality time together. Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow famously announced their split on their lifestyle website Goop in March of this year. Do you remember hearing about that uncoupling drama?
Uncoupling,
Yes. Ending a 10-year marriage. The exes have remained amicable, and Gwen is even reported to be dating the co-creator of Glee, Brad something. So, Jennifer, that's myself, sorry. So, do you think that she does a pretty good job flying under the radar? Has she kept her romantic life largely out of the public? That's Jennifer. The rumoured relationship between Martin and J-Lo began just a little over a month ago when they were seen cozying up to one another at Kensington Roof Gardens. So, do you guys think it's true? Do you think that Gwen is totally, upset about this, or are you not sure? What do you guys think about this?
I don't really
Would you
care,
steal her?
to be honest.
Would you steal this guy? Would you go for this guy who's uncoupling?
What do you mean steal? He's consciously uncoupled.
Do you think Gwen's better off?
He's single.
He's
I think he's better off
clear.
because she's slightly got her ways about her. She's a little bit strange, Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, because that's what I mean. As in, like, because the website is hers, Goop, and this unconscious uncoupling. It's like most people just say we split up.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's true that they're not exactly like, trendsetters. They're not people who go out there and you're like, oh my gosh, what is Chris Martin doing? What's but really and truly, it's not
somebody. I don't care about them really.
Couldn't care less. All right, that's their opinion. Let's hear yours. Give your comments on our Facebook page. A different kind of woman. Do you know what? I'm going to take a break from all this reading. I'm going to allow one of you guys to read the next one. Feel free.
All right, but the lovely Paris Hilton. I forget she's most famous for was that Simple Life?
She's famous for being famous.
That's right.
Yes.
So an heiress. So basically, she is somehow convincing people to pay her millions of dollars just for the pleasure of watching her stand around for a few hours. So apparently, in a nightclub in Ibiza, she was earning close to $350,000 an hour For the strenuous routine of standing around, looking bored and pressing play on her iTunes playlist. So when all is said and done, she's expected to rake in around $2.7 million. So does it make you angry that people are paid that much just for being famous?
Gosh,
I wouldn't say anger is the emotion. I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. These people obviously have nothing better to do with their money, and that's all I have to say on the matter.
The thing is,
she's spoken for all.
The thing is, this is no different than what Paris Hilton has always done.
Yeah.
She's always done nothing and been famous for doing nothing. She has no actual talent. She tried to do like a music video, I remember. Like most things flop. So she has always been famous. Like the most famous thing she probably did was the thing with Nicole Richie, Simple Life.
Yeah.
But you know, so it's no different. You know, at the end of the day, she's always done it. This is what she's good at, isn't it?
But let's talk about this deeper. I mean, Paris. Who is Paris? If she doesn't do this, she's such a boring child.
See, I think it's
boring.
all fiction though,
Yeah,
because
but,
she doesn't have. For example, she did the thing with Nicole Richie, but look at their lives now. Nicole Richie is happily married.
She's a mother.
She's a mother. I think she's got 2 kids. She's got her accessories range and all those kind of things that I think it's House of Harlow is what she's got. So she's successful, she's happy, but she's not doing it in front of everyone's faces and just waiting for the appreciation from the crowd to validate herself. Whereas it seems that's what only Paris has to deal with.
It's like
that's what she's always had. So she's become, I was talking to somebody about this recently, she's become addicted to that now. It's like, it's almost like the oxygen. She can't survive without that.
It's like a deeper issue.
Yeah,
Why
she
can't you
needs
just be at home happy? I mean, be at home, be with family, you know, do something. Why are you standing
Find
around?
a passion.
Find a passion. Yeah, why are you standing around waiting for people to look at you and then get paid for that? That is so, I find that very depressing. I feel actually very sorry for her.
I don't, because you know, you could pay me £100 to stand here in the board and I'll do it.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you know,
£100 or something, Gemma.
all she's thinking is, you know, I've built up myself to be, because she's got a sister, so Nikki's not like her. She's got like a handbag range and all that stuff. So she actually like works.
Yeah,
you know, if you can put it like that. So she actually works. So this is obviously what she can do. Like Paris doesn't strike me as, I don't want to be rude, as the most smartest person in the entire world. So you would think, gosh, with all that Hilton money, you would do something, invest and so on. But this is all she can do, I think. So she just makes
it is.
It's empty. It's really. But there are so many. But then when you think about it, there are so many celebrities just like her. So she will never feel like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Kim Kardashian is another socialite who
I'm going to be honest with you.
Famous for being
good
famous.
on her for getting paid for doing it, because there are a lot of average people like that as well that just live for Instagram likes.
Yes.
They just want the acceptance of people.
And I was just about to say that, because the thing is, I see so many people on Instagram doing those whole Paris Hilton handbag pictures, like looking down. They're not getting paid.
It's just like,
you're not getting paid for that.
Like, what's on the floor?
Yeah,
seriously.
You know what I mean? Everyone does that. Holding the hair, leg up. Okay, Paris is getting paid for this. Kim's
the whole imitating thing that you were talking about, right?
Kim has just bought a mansion like for $33 million or whatever. She's getting paid for this. You know, you're watching her and scrolling, and
her
you're not getting paid.
book. Kim Kardashian has actually brought out
a selfie book
of selfies.
And I'm sure it will do very well.
Selfies. That's what we live
Kim
in.
is doing is she's capitalizing on her fame, on her beauty. It's not going to last long.
True.
And that's the thing in Hollywood, it doesn't last long. So she's thinking, what? And this is what Paris is thinking. While I've got it, I'm going to make us. And to be honest, you know, Paris, people could actually say she's a smart businesswoman. She's using what she's got
Absolutely
to make
and maximising it.
All right, so a little bit of controversy in the studio. Give us your opinions. Give us, note it down on the Facebook page, DKW, Different Kind of Woman, and join us after the break.
When we want to reach our goals, we research, act, and make sure we know everything there is to know about that topic. We study hard because that is the intelligent thing to do. This is the same for our development as a Christian. The Faith School is designed for those who want a degree in spiritual growth, those who want to separate time to study the Holy Bible and follow God's path for their life. There is no admissions fee and it's suitable for every level of learner. You will learn how to interpret the Word of God for your daily life and become stronger internally. Do you want to find inner peace and spiritual strength? Then this course is for you. The Faith School, every Wednesday at your local UCKG Help Centre. For more information, call 020 7686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org.
Gosh, this show has gone so quickly, hasn't it, ladies? Yeah. Quick. You know, it's always wonderful we get able to discuss things amongst ourselves without fighting with each other.
That's off camera.
That's right. Today's show, we've been discussing all the things that you've been emailing us about. If you have a problem and you'd like us to talk about it live on the show, feel free to email us at comments@dkw.me and we'll find an opportunity to discuss it, or we'll email you right back our opinions. Now, more celebrity news.
Right, well, talking of fighting, according to Heat magazine, Beyonce and Kim Kardashian kept apart with military precision, if I can just say it, at the VMAs. Beyonce has allegedly called Kim a social climber, and Beyonce apparently snubbed Kim's wedding to Kanye. They weren't seen set a foot of each other all night, and according to an insider, it was all meticulously orchestrated. They even sat... Do you know what? Who cared? Like Kim, I'm sure she wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, this is her wedding. Like, let me sit, opposite Beyonce. I'm not going to talk to her. I think she was looking at Kanye, wasn't she?
Well,
but anyway, okay, fine. So apparently, according to the insider, it was all meticulously orchestrated. They even sat opposite sides of the room, and apparently the people putting together the show this is VMAs, were warned not allow the cameras to pan onto Kim's face while Beyonce performed.
because I saw a little snippet and I did look for Kim's face, no lie, because I've heard about all these rumours.
Did you see it? No, okay, fine. So the event organisers did their best to avoid a drama, but still it makes the news. Guys, do you think this is a real argument or do you think it's fake?
I don't know. I think there might be some. I mean, there's no smoke without fire. I think there's definitely some truth in it. You never see them together.
It's Kanye and Jay-Z that are best friends, not Beyonce and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, but Kanye and Jay-Z being best friends would mean that they would spend a lot of time together.
Yes.
You never see them taking selfies together, hugging each other.
It could be
out
like
with each other.
Have been like a powerhouse.
I've seen more pictures of Beyonce and Rihanna than Beyonce, and that's saying something, than Beyonce and Kim Kardashian.
Because what I've heard is, as I said, she thinks that she's a social climber. I had heard
and
that
she
doesn't want to be associated with it because though I'm not going.
She has worked hard. That's the thing. Beyonce has actually worked hard to get to where she is,
and that's the thing.
Right. Well, here's my argument about that. Sorry, before you say that,
talking talent-wise,
yes,
using her talent.
This is what I truly think. I think that Beyonce and Kim Kardashian are exactly the same. Why do I say that? Because Beyonce had worked hard and she is a hard worker. Don't get me wrong. She dances very well and what have you. But she came to a certain point where she just started using sex to sell herself. So she worked hard up to a certain point. If you've ever watched her documentaries of her, growing up, it's inspirational. But she's come to a certain point where she's just used sex, her body. I mean, even her performances at the VMAs were just appalling. I couldn't even watch it, to be honest. Now, Kim, obviously, as we know, has become famous initially through a sex tape, but she's not doing that anymore. Now she's doing other things. She's going about doing whatever. So I think they're the same. They're just that the roles have reversed. Yeah. She worked hard to a certain point. Now she's selling sex. Kim sold sex and now is not doing that. So I'm sorry.
The J word is in there, a bit of jealousy.
Yeah, I think this is typical with a lot of women. For
Definitely.
example, I think it was like when Beyonce had this whole issue with Rihanna, allegedly. I think that when you see a younger, more successful, more beautiful woman, more famous,
more influential, because she's very influential, Kim.
Yeah. Kim Kardashian, like I was saying the other day, to a lot of young women, people like Kanye himself said, like when Michelle Obama Instagram something, no one looks at it like they do my woman and all that stuff. And it is true. At the end of the day, she does have an appeal and she does sell. And when it comes to fame and when it comes to money and beauty, when you see another person in your arena, because Beyonce's been it for a long time, and all of a sudden it's not just all about her. So I think there is a sense of envy there. And then the worst thing is, if your husbands do get along, then you have to be with that person.
Well, that's the
and then
thing.
if you already have an issue with the person, and then they're not the smartest person in the whole world, and you just think, oh, do you know what, you're just so annoying. Because I can see how people could find Kim annoying, because she is very
just her voice alone.
Yeah, she is very superficial, etc. And Beyonce, she seems to have a little bit more together. She's a mother and so on, but she seems to have it more together than Kim. But I just think she sees another woman who's got more than her.
I think Beyonce enjoys being queen. She enjoys being queen, and she doesn't want anybody to
These ladies just want to take over the show about Beyonce and just really not what it's about. But I have a little thing that I would like to say to those ladies. Beauty's fading, but character lasts. Next question. So, this is from one of our viewers, ladies. Dear DKW ladies, what should I do about this new guy? Look, many of the questions seem to be about relationships and love. So I recently just broke up with my boyfriend. We have a child together. I've met a new guy though. I really like him a lot. The new guy has a son as well. He's the sweetest guy and an amazing father to his son. He said that he would like to get into a relationship with me eventually, but he wants to take things slow, which I agreed to that. But right now he doesn't text me as much, and we don't get to see each other very often. And I'm just not sure if I'm being needy or if it's a concern, if this concern is the right thing. Please help. How often do you think a man should be in contact when it's a new relationship?
That's a really good question, actually. I think what's happened is maybe she thought communicating that I want to take it slow, but the thing is, you know, if it's too slow, then just communicate again. It could be like a simple communication issue. The thing with us women sometimes is we have many conversations in our head, and we don't tell the guy, and then they're like, but you know, you didn't tell me that, just tell me. So I think that it's just a simple conversation she needs to have, and you know, it's about expectations. She's obviously expecting a number of calls, and he's obviously expecting, you know, less than that. Do you see what I mean? So it's just about all relationships. What I find is about expectations and just communicating what your expectations are and meeting in the middle. So it's probably, she just needs to tell him like, oh, I wish you would call me more, or WhatsApp me, or text me, or Skype me.
But should she have to do that? I mean,
yes.
Well, he said that he wants to take it. It's him that has said.
Oh, did he say he wants to take it slow?
It's him that said he wants to take it slow.
Worrying, guys? So, don't you feel that a bit worrying?
It depends.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I'm
going to be honest with you. I just feel that when a man wants to be with a woman, he will do what he wants. You know, he will do what he has to do. You don't need to
tell him. Oh, sorry, I've had that.
You don't need to tell him. You don't need to tell him to back off a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, calm down.
He wants to take it slow.
He wants to take it slow.
He said he would like to get into
relationship eventually.
I disagree.
The equivalent is what we say that how as women would friend zone the guy. That's what I think he's trying to do to her in a different way. Because if a guy wants to contact you, he doesn't wait for, you know, a certain amount of time. If he wants to speak to you in the morning, he'll just send you a WhatsApp, a text, a call. They'll just do it. You don't need to force them. The same like with us friends. It's like you don't need to force your friend. Talk to me. You don't speak to me. I'm Gemma. You know.
It's so nice to put, isn't it?
But you do it naturally. When you want to be around somebody, you do. When you want to reach.
I think he's not into her enough. That's my true opinion.
It depends, though. It depends, because maybe she is being a bit too needy, and I think if you have the conversation with him and then he doesn't change, then okay, maybe something's wrong. Because
Gemma, he's already said this is a man we're talking about. We're talking about a man here. It's not another woman, you know.
Listen. But the thing is, remember, he's got a son, is it? He's got a child. I think it's different when you have children, because I think, for example, like, you know, although you do want the relationship, yes, but then you also have to think about the other person. So I can understand why he wants to take it slow. It depends on the other women he's been with. It depends on his child. So I think if you communicate it and then he's like, slow, then you kind of know, like, oh, he's not into me.
About the communication. I can give you an example here. Okay, so we're friends here, okay?
Yes.
Do we not communicate at least once a day?
Yes.
At the very
No.
We built that up over years.
But we're only friends, Gemma. We're not in a relationship. We're only friends.
We only do it about once a day, and it's just that we're friends. We don't even feel we need to do it all the time. I'm sorry, if you're into somebody,
he would at least be, because the fact is, you want to take it slow, fine, but you would still you know, the fact that you said he's got a child, exactly, you would still want to know the person. You still want to get to know who this woman is.
It's a new relationship.
Exactly, so you should be
wonder what's going to happen later on in life.
You should be interested.
Because then you're thinking,
now,
that's how you decipher whether you want to introduce them to your child.
Exactly.
Because, you know, it's...
All right.
I definitely think communicate.
Yes,
but equally, that much.
Okay, ladies, turn it down. I'm so sorry. I hope that they've been able to help you with this problem here. Well, listen, look, ladies, we're coming to the end of our show, so I've had to cut you down a bit, I'm afraid. Now, we have been talking about the problems that we face as women, exposing it here on the show, talking about it freely, but some people don't have that. So this is why I would like you guys to give just very, very quickly some top tips for ladies who are going through problems. What should they do? What can they bring home for themselves from this program? Because we'll not always be around, I'm afraid. And sometimes there's no friend or family member to speak to. So what tips do you have? Mel, do you want to start?
Well, I'll start actually. When you said that about no friends and family to speak to, I wanted to say, like, I'll go back just before I give my advice. Sometimes you don't have someone there for you in your time of need because you're not there for other people in their time of need. So that's where I would start. I would say, because, you know, some people don't have that sort of agony aunt because when they're so into their own life that, you know, they're getting on with it, and it's only when things go crashing down in your life and you think, oh, I do need friends. But I would say start off by being a good friend, because when you are a good friend, then that comes back to you. I would say for anyone as well who is going through a situation is that they should try to be open with that situation as much as possible. And if you are on the receiving end of someone talking, like I said at the start of the show, listen. Being there for your friend. Like, over the years we've built a friendship, like I said, I don't know, 14, 15 years I've known these girls, and we've been through some tough times, you know, relationship breakdowns, divorces, etc. But we were there for each other, and that's the most important thing, I think, is having someone that's going to be there for you, but also that you're going to be there for that person as well.
Lovely.
That's really important.
Beautiful. Who's next?
I guess it's me. I think going back to what I said a lot earlier about picking your moment, you know, you can't just do one size fits all. You know, some people can feel attacked, you know, if you try and shove your opinion on them, or if they're in that moment where they're not actually ready to listen. So you've got to make sure that the space that you create, or the situation I should say that you create, is an open one, and it's going to be a receptive one, you know, and tailor it to the person that you are speaking to. If you're speaking to your friend, you know, maybe they want to be one-on-one, not always in a group, but sometimes it can help in a group because then they don't feel so attacked, and other people can then maybe help, if you're close friends like we are, you know, to kind of pull you back in if you're doing it in the wrong way, or help back up what you're saying. If you're speaking to a teenager or, you know, a younger person, then do it in a way again that's not threatening. They're not adults, you know, they are not there just to be talked at, but to create a two-way conversation. So that would be
lovely.
Yeah,
I think quickly.
I think it's really important to just sometimes also just be there. I do think that it's really important for people need people, and no man is an island. So it is really important, if you're going through something, you do need to find somebody who you can talk to about it. And if you are that somebody who, you know, is going to be there for someone, I think it's not always in the talking. Sometimes it's just being there, just taking them for a coffee, just being there to listen, making a kind gesture, you know, sending them an inspirational thought or word. You know, I think those little things can really make a difference as well.
Lovely. Well, this is very, very beautiful. I love all the tips that you've given, and as I want to reiterate, we are not trained professionals, and actually we're still building upon our portfolio of life experience, being the young'uns that we are. However, we are women who do care. We do care, and we do believe that a problem that is shared can become a problem, not just halved but solved. You know, if we talk about it and we open up, and open up is very, very important. I think where people can sometimes get stuck is they want to keep the problem to themselves, and it festers and festers and festers, and it never goes away. So half of solving the problem is opening up to the right people at the right time, as you were saying. And at DKW, you know, we have a two-way service. We are not professionals, but we like to listen. We want to be that listening ear. We're not going to be judging you, but also we have lots of affiliations with professional bodies, with charities who can help. And if you'd like to benefit from those, all you've got to do is, in confidence, email us at comments@dkw.me, visit our website at a different kind of DKW, or inbox us on our Facebook page engage a different kind of woman, you can do that today and we'll get in contact with you straight away. So always remember, be different. Thank you for joining us. This was DKW. See you next week.